So with all this diversity of species and so many different wattles, there are a range of ways that we can look after them. I'm standing here next to a snowy river wattle, Acacia bourmanni, and this is a classic example of one that's a pioneering species, fast growing, can be short-lived, but we can do some things to help prolong its life, and one of those is pruning. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get stuck into this particular plant here, and as we can see there's another shrub under here that's getting a bit crowded out by this one. This particular species also suckers from the base, which means that after a fire it'll regenerate from suckers as well as seed. That tells us that we can be fairly ruthless with our pruning methods. So snowy river wattle, this is one of the harsh treatments that we can do to help prolong its life. So this might seem a little bit harsh, but we've done two things here. We've reduced some of the lower canopy and lifted the foliage up somewhat by taking off some of these dead branches and some of the lower branches, some right down to the ground, to give this plant here some more light, and that's going to give it a better chance of succeeding. But at the same time, by cutting it fairly hard down to the ground, we've also stimulated the plant to have new fresh growth coming up here and from the suckers nearby. So effectively what we can do in the future is either remove the rest of the top of the foliage and allow a new plant to generate from the base, or allow selective branches to come up through the canopy. All this will help prolong the life of pioneering species like this one. So we've just seen some fairly harsh pruning and some dead branch removal. Another way of helping prolong the life of some of these pioneering species is to take some weight off the outer parts of the branches. And so just as an example here, you can see we've got this fairly top heavy branch, and often when they're flowering in spring they'll be weighed down and they're prone to breaking. So one way to mitigate that is to actually take some weight off the canopy by simply just removing select branches, and as you can see that the stems will lift up a little bit without that excess foliage weighing them down. And again, it means that we're really prolonging the life of this particular plant, and it will tend to thicken up and become more bushy as a response to this type of pruning.